Hello everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Dave Gets Word, where I am still working on the tabletop, where I've got the outer edge of the underside of the table kind of dug out and smoothed up a bit. So now I was just looking at something there. The long pieces of wood that go on this table are not actually attached directly to the table. That's a surprise. And I was thinking about that last night. So the only thing that holds them in is the support pieces. Interesting. Well, anyway. Right, yes, we've been around the edge. Now we need to start working on the inner bits. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to try and work on one half initially. So let's move the camera so you can see. So to begin with, I'll be working on these two. So there's these two, there's another two just over there. There's a big bit sort of in that direction that needs doing, and there are a few other bits that I need to have a look at as to whether I'm going to carve them out or whether I'm just going to fill them. So basically I'm just going to sort of kick on here. Now this one is going to take, because this is very deep, well, in terms of the carving of stuff, it's very deep. It's about 3/4 of a centimetre in depth. This is definitely going to have to sort of come back here somewhere. That one's going to take some work, so we'll probably do that one second. This one is mainly wood splinters on the top, but there are a number of holes here, but there's no point me digging down into these holes to clear them because they had pins in them. So they are actually going to be better off filled. I also need to be careful with these bits because yes, they had pins in them, but some of them broke and left some metal in the table, and that was what I dremeled down some time ago. So I managed to sort of get them lower than the actual table top, but okay, like that one there, I've missed one there and one there, so they are protruding slightly, so I have to be careful of those. Okay, and there's another one there. Last thing, as I clean this up, there's a chance that I'm going to uncover a few of them. I mean, there's kind of two ways to deal with them. One is to dig around them to try and be able to grab them and pull them out. I've tried that before. It's a fucking nightmare, especially with them being on this bit. They've been glued, so the glue. Ow! I just stabbed my finger on that fucking hole. But it got me. That hurt. Yeah, so the glue keeps them in place, so that's why I dremeled them last time. It was easier just to grind them down rather than try and pull them out. I just want to try and get off if I can get off the excess wood, then I can worry about the pins, and also which bits I might need to dig down on. I'm struggling to reach them. quite a bit of splintered wood there, so we'll get that taken out. There we go. Not good. I'm hurting already. A lot more than I intended. Bugger. Okay, got that wrong. Made a right mess of that. It's only supposed to be a tiny little bit I was taking off. Okay, so that's still got some of the excess wood on there. We'll get that smoothed off, and then I can Dremel those bits a bit later. I'm definitely going to have to come back to that and have to deal with those pins before I can really finish carving that up. Right. This one, well, this is definitely going to take some work. Now I mentioned that there's a big bit that needs dealing with over there, and to be honest I think that'll be more work than this, mainly because I can see where the wood is fractured, but it didn't have the hole in it like this did. Hurting so much. Well, I know my arm hasn't recovered from when I was doing this the other day. Oh. I've tried to reduce how far this way I'm going with my dig. It all is dictated though by how much under or overhang there is at this, where the split was going down. it's not too bad, it's nearly at the bottom. Jesus. It looks like I've just about got to the end of the split, which is good. I don't need to really go any further that way, unless it's just to smooth off the shape. And again, in this one we've got pinholes which will need filling. Could I do this left-handed? I don't know, maybe. If I could. No, I said the other day that using blade left-handed is not a good idea, but I haven't really got much choice at the minute. It's definitely not easy. I don't know if you could hear those sounds, that crunchy sound of splitting rather than that sound. Obviously there's a fine line between it sounding like it's splitting because I'm treating it wrong and I'm breaking it, which is what that was then. Compared to when there's already a split. Come on, you fucker, I'm trying to smooth you off a bit. Okay. There's a bit there. And also I want to get rid of this bit that's sticking out here. Mainly because it's just going to make it awkward to fucking work with. Oh dear. Got Derby v Swansea on. Looks like Derby fucking getting relegated this year. Derby were leading 1-0, and they're not nil. It's 1-1. Not that I'm a Derby fan, but I'm a Man United fan, but being from Derby and having played for Derby in my youth, they're in dire straits at the minute. Ooh, is that a split there? I think it might be. is now. So what we'll do here, we'll just have a little tidy up there. I'm going to do it here as well, but we're not finished with this bit. Or Derby a 2-1 down. Okay. Right, I'm going to leave those for now. That one I'm fairly pleased, I'm fairly happy with. That one, still, I need to deal with those pins, and I'm not going to do that right now, because what I want to do is move on to the next bit, which is going to need me to move. Looks like the second goal was a penalty. I would have just tried getting a penalty. Oh, booked for diving. Right, okay. I might not be able to see it, but I need to have a check of this bit where there's a bit of a hole here and a bit of a hole there. It actually looks like it's something that's been repaired previous, and I think for those I'll fill those. Okay. Now, again, there may be some stuff that I won't see until we've stripped the table. Oh. Okay, let's have a... this way a bit. Okay, so we have these two, which are nowhere near in as bad as condition as the other ones were, but I do still need to take off the excess wood. And again, these have got holes on them, in them, from the pins that were holding the piece of wood there. Most of the pins came out on this piece. On that one, there was one or two that didn't. Bit awkward this, because it's the grain of the wood that's on there is that way, not that way, and the grain of the main wood is that way. It's a bit awkward to try and get it off cleanly. Okay, so that was mainly wood that was glued on. That though is going to need digging out a little bit to tidy it up. As is this. Okay, not that it needs loads, but it just needs enough to tidy it up, smooth it out. Okay, that's been a bit awkward, that one. I was going to come at it from another side, but I'm not going to. Come on, stop being awkward. The wood's a bit of a pain here. Well, it's mainly because of how I'm struggling to fucking dig it at the minute. Dig it. Got a slightly gentler approach. Might work. Let's get in there. Okay, so we've got another pin there. Okay. Right, now the next bit of this that needs digging out, the big bit, is just here. And I think I'm going to turn the table around so I can position myself easier on it, so I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so the bit that we're going to be working on here, just look, there's a hole there. Oh, probably needs filling. I may have to, well, I think some of this I'm going to have to recheck after I've stripped it. But the bit I'm going to be focusing on here, and it is going to be tough, is this bit. Now the reason it's going to be tough, I mean, actually you can see on the camera the split, the crack, and it does go under, but right there is a knot, and knots are a pain in the fucking arse. So I may have to approach this slightly differently. Normally I would sort of say come in from around about here and try digging through it. Because the split doesn't look like it comes down here or down here, I think what I'll try and do is just keep my carving to where the split is, and we'll see how it goes. So basically trying to take as little out as possible, which may be easier said than done. It's one of those where it looks like it could go quite deep. And interestingly, this part of the split is actually going that way. Oh, not that way. Quite surprising. So what I'm trying to do here is, like with the other big carving bits, is trying to get to the point where this split doesn't exist anymore, which by the looks of it is quite a way. Because this wood is around a knot, it's so fucking tough. Oh. That goes quite far. If I go that way, I've got much more chance of just splitting a massive chunk off. May have made a bit of progress there. Surprisingly a very tough job this. I mean, the thing is, I said it before, I could just attack this with power tools, but not in here. tough piece of wood there. Again, this is a situation where I could have just gone for filling it, but looking at how deep this split has gone, bear in mind what it started off about here, and all the way over here it is still overhanging a split that is already there. Technique's working. I've come up against the join. Interesting. So it looks like the excuse me, these may be put together in a tongue and groove style. I could be wrong, but I can see in there what appears to be a piece of wood that is actually attached to this, looking like tongue and groove. So that split then basically had gone all the way to the join. Okay, have to be a little bit careful here, because I don't want to cause a problem with the integrity of a join. It should be okay at the moment. Still got a split bit to get rid of there. Okay, I am thinking that because there's the join there, that I don't dig any further down on that. I'll smooth this off, and then what I might do is just seal that with a bit of glue. At least then it'll should keep the integrity of the join. Okay, now there's still this side to go out. I mean, I don't know if that's going to go in the same direction. Let's find out. Ow. Let's go with this knife for the moment. so there is quite a bit of an overhang on there. Normally I would carve with the grain, but a knot doesn't have a grain in the same direction. It has to be a circle, that's why it's a knot. Pin there? No, there's a hole. Being a hole is a little bit of an issue. What I don't really want to do is take this little bit of wood away, just in case this comes detached from the join in there. Careful, Dave. Well, it's a little messy in there, but let's see if I can tidy it up a little bit. Ooh. Okay, we may have a problem there. Bollocks. That split is going further deeper than I thought it might. Or further and deeper than I was hoping it would go. Okay, it doesn't go too much further. Let's see if I can get down to it without getting too close to the edge. Come on, you fucker. I'm going to be running out of space on my camera in a moment. That's just about there. It means there's not a whole lot. keeping that wood in place really. Okay, that's a little more of an awkward situation than I realised it was going to be, mainly because of it being what appears to be a tongue and groove join, and Derby have lost. Yeah, so I've not been able to clean that up anywhere near as much as I wanted to, simply because of running out of wood there to work with. So we may have to do a bit of sealing with glue in that one. But that'll be it for this video. Oh, get out of the camera. That's just about one half the table nearly dealt with, but it's the main big bits dealt with. Got another half of the table where there's those two bits where the wood was, and maybe a couple of bits that need tidying up, but again, I'll probably be able to see more once I have stripped it, and then do a bit more work on it. We'll see. Alright, have a good night everyone, I'll see you again soon.